Hello and welcome to the second episode of Unboxing Women, where we will explore why women in business are often called such a bitch. So our aim is to explore how and why women are marginalized in the music industry, and we will also broaden our view to the underlying aspects of modern society in general. We'll be chatting with our audience, so you, and asking questions every now and then, and maybe have a guest come onto the show to give us their view on the subject. My name is Maika Rose, and I am an independent artist, singer-songwriter based in Germany, and with me is my friend Dana Rexx. And she is also an independent recording artist, singer and songwriter based in Belgium. This is a live stream on Facebook and Instagram, so you can listen to the show as a podcast, and we will also be uploading this on YouTube, Twitch, Spotify, and all the other podcast places later on. So, to dive straight into it, Dana, you had an experience last week concerning our topic, Such a Bitch. So tell us all about it.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Last week was crazy. I was called a bitch in traffic by some random guy that I've never seen in my whole life. Because why? Because I was following traffic regulation, basically. So it was in the city center of Brussels, where I was coming up to a light with actually quite a lot of traffic already waiting. And it's a 30 kilometers an hour zone. So it's not fast. And, I actually have to concentrate to keep driving that slowly. And this guy drives up behind me like wildly and then passes me on the right, crossing over multiple full lines and a bicycle pathway, driving over the parking strip and everything. And 10 meters further, he has to stop behind the cars already waiting at the light. And so I honk because, he just broke a bunch of laws. I regretted it because actually, that's something we need to talk about. So immediately I regretted it and I stopped behind him. He steps out of his car without a mask, I might add. And he comes to my window, which I don't, I don't open, obviously. And he yells at me, "You should learn how to drive, you stupid bitch." And he flips me off. What? Oh my God. Yes. And so, I was so mad.
So insane. Yeah.
I was so angry. I want to tell you guys something, okay? I've never missed one episode of Top Gear. I can change my own flat tire, and I have done so more than once. I can parallel park in one movement. Yes, folks, one movement. And when I'm on a country road somewhere, you better hold on to your seat because I like to do some rallying and skidding. So, I can bet I'm a way better driver than this guy in any vehicle any day, okay? So I'm not going to do some rally driving in the city center of Brussels, right? I'm not about to endanger other people nor myself to show off. It's a 30 kilometers an hour place, and there's a reason for that, okay? And there was police everywhere. So, what gives him the right to insult me while I was the one following regulations, and he was the one driving like an asshole? So is it because I'm a woman that he feels superior to me and obviously thinks he's a better driver than I am? Or, what is it with this kind of men is my question, that they have to use their car as a weapon? What is the cause of all this frustration?
Yeah. I think that's an interesting question. I think in general, road rage is a very interesting thing. Because where does it come from? I get aggressive on the road sometimes. Not like I'm going to walk up to your car window and like demand whatever, but you kind of like seriously, why are you driving like this? But in this case, he was obviously the one who was breaking all the road rules, and then he comes up to you for honking at him. This week I had something.
I have to learn how to drive. Oh, I was so mad.
Yeah, I wasn't called a bitch this week, but. It doesn't happen every week, guys. But,
thankfully.
Yeah, but with roads, I was driving on the motorway, and the right lane had been barred because there had been an accident, and there were people driving on that lane. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Seriously? So I was honking at them, and they were like looking at me like, what what are you doing? What is this person doing? I was like, there is obviously a red cross at the top of the line. You can see that you're not supposed to drive there. You still drive there. What goes on in people's minds when that happens? I don't understand it. So
no, me neither.
To come back to yours, why did he feel the need to get out of his car? Because that's a big step. Why did
that's a big step
to get out of his car, walk up to you, and then tell you you're a bitch and you can't drive?
I know. I like looking back at it. It's so stupid, but at the time I was so mad. But I've had something a couple of years back where I actually got out of my car, and this guy nearly, he was aiming for me with his car because I got out of my car, because something happened on the highway, and then we both were on the exit, and I'm like, and I passed him, and I stopped as well, and I got out of my car to go and see what the hell was going on, because I mean, the way he was driving, maybe he was having a heart attack or something. And then this person actually started driving, like, just a little bit, and then I went out of the way, and he moved his car, so I was in the way again. So he was actively trying to scare me, or was gonna drive over me. I was very scared and freaked out, so I ran actually across the exit of the highway. So I might have been hit by a car coming off the highway as well. So that was an experience that, it just taught me, don't get out of your car. Don't get out of your car, because it's really dangerous. It's really dangerous. Just stay in your car. Yeah. But freaky,
that's really interesting, because you said about like being able to change your tires and skidding and whatever, and I think that's really, really cool, because I could probably change a tire, but I tried once because I had a flat tire once, and the tire I drive a very old car. I drive a minivan, and I can parallel park really well as well, and people are always really surprised because I'm like this young little woman sitting in this really big car. And I look like 15 when I drive, because like no makeup, no whatever, hair is up. And so it's always really funny when there's people who look at me and they're like,
what is she doing?
But what was my point?
Where did she get the right to drive a van? Yeah.
No, but I tried to, I had a flat tire one evening, and it was so old. This tire was on there for so long that I could not get it off. I actually called my parents in the middle of the night, because this was when I was doing bar shifts, and they came out to meet me in the middle of the night with the other car, and my dad tried to get it off, and he could not get it off.
No, so the bolts are rusted
somewhere. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but it was an absolute nightmare. So yeah.
Well, I'll teach you. I'll teach you when I come to Hamburg again.
That'd be a very, very good idea. Yeah.
We'll do a day of how to change your tire with Dana Rexx. But when the bolts are rusted, nobody can can get it off without a power tool. So yeah, well, yes. So I was so mad. I'm just, So
what about that exactly? What about, was it him calling you a bitch that made you mad, or was it the whole thing, or like?
It was the whole thing, but it was because of the insults. He just learn how to drive, you stupid bitch. Why? There's a difference between, what do you think you're doing, ma'am? Can't you drive? And asking a question and opening a conversation. That's something different than just calling me straight up a bitch and insulting me and then flipping me off as well at the same time. And because obviously a week before that, we had started our first episode of Unboxing Women. And it just, I just thought, this goes to show that there's still a lot of people who have a lot of stuff to learn. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
The question is with that one as well, would he have done the same with a man? he doesn't know you're a woman if he's come out to your car, because he'd have to see you first.
Oh, he passed me, so I think he knew. And I do drive Should I say a girly car? I don't know. I drive an A3 Audi, but it's a convertible, so
Okay. Yeah,
it
a lot of
could
times
be
people
seen as a
assume,
girly.
yeah,
Yeah,
that convertibles are driven by girls, which is also interesting. But I
yeah,
mean,
or
I guess that's kind of
A3s. Yeah,
that's again, that's I think that comes a lot from the what's it called? I mean, I guess pop culture in a way, and I don't know why, but for some reason, all the pop culture is American, and like you see all these American teenage girls because they're 16 and they can drive because they have a driver's
yeah,
license,
which
and
is
they get to
crazy.
drive around in their convertibles and stuff, which is yeah. It's a bit weird how we in Europe have taken that on as our pop culture as well. When in actuality, I know like one person who drives a convertible.
Well, we
So
don't have as much. We don't have as much sun, do we?
true.
That's
Yeah,
why I drive a convertible. That's because I want to catch all the sun possible because there is so little.
it's true.
But
It's a very good thing to do.
I mean, for in Brussels, my car is perfect. You know, it's not too large. It's not too small either. It's because Brussels is really, it's not simple to drive there. All the streets go, it's just crazy. I don't know if there are a lot of people from the US watching, but I mean, in Europe, we have a lot of towns that grew organically. So instead of being a hashtag, basically, like in the States where everything has blocks, everything goes around, because it just grew organically, like from the side of a stream or somewhere like in a valley.
Castle.
Exactly, or it used to be a castle.
So you'd have like the surrounding moat, and then you'd have like everything in concentric circles from there.
Yeah, so, something like that. So Brussels is just horrible. And at the same time as being circular and crossed, it goes up and down as well because there's hills there. So it's just crazy to drive there. And it's better if you have a smaller car because it's scary sometimes. It's really scary there what people do. So yeah, I mean, I'm in the perfect Brussels car, minding my own business, and this guy, oh my God. Anyway, I'm over it. I'm over it.
Right. So we've passed that because it's been a week now, and that's been a week. Enough time to be mad about it. But
yes, too long.
Yeah, too long, actually. Yeah. So I was just thinking because I had, because we're talking about cars, it actually brought to my mind, I had this joke once, and I can't tell it very well, so I apologize to anybody who's here for stand-up comedy, because but
it made me laugh.
Oh, well, you might be the only one, we'll never know. But anyway, so there's this joke where, and a guy tells this joke, mind you, where he explains how he thinks men and women's minds work. So you might be familiar with this. He explains women's minds as an interconnected web of everything. So it just kind of looks like what do you call it? A ball of yarn, like a ball of wool. So you've got like, everything is connected, right? So in women's brains, it all goes like right? So that's how he explains it. And then he says, well, men think very differently. And he says, it's very difficult for a man to converse with a woman, his words, where basically because she will go from the car to thinking about the car insurance, to thinking about her life insurance, to thinking about how much money they have in the bank because, you need to start paying stuff in. And then
sounds about right. Yeah.
Expenses. And then she starts thinking about that pair of shoes she bought last week. And then, the list goes on and on. And with men, he says it's very difficult because they think in boxes, right? So you've got one box concerning the car.
Okay.
So when you talk about the car, you take out the box that has the car in it, right? You open the box and you talk just about the car. Okay. And then when she starts talking about the car insurance, he's like, well, no, that's a different box. That's an insurance box. So I need to close the car box, put it back, take out the insurance box and open the insurance box. And then
I love this.
Right? And then so it goes on. So when women switch from one topic to another, a lot of the times men will get stuck behind because they don't understand the connectivity. Again, his words, right?
Okay.
And so this actually ties in, I find, very well into our title, because we're called Unboxing Women, right?
Yeah, it does.
So I was thinking how best to explain this to anybody, but with this joke to men in particular, is we want to take the box women, right? The box that's labeled women, and open it and allow other things to enter into that box. Or, you know,
I
to
like
let the women
this.
out of the box.
Yes.
Because a lot of the time we find that, or I find that it's you can't be a woman and, you know, drive well, or you can't be a woman and know how to park, or you can't be a woman and do DIY stuff, or you can't be a woman and know how to be techie. And I know it's not everybody who thinks this way, but it is like a general misconception that people have. And so the idea of the title was just to kind of take that box, you know, that label that people put on you, open it up and see what comes out of it. So
I think that's really good.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way of putting it, because, you know, if you're thinking in boxes anyway, and if we have to have boxes, well, then put women in all of them.
Right.
Just
exactly.
put us in all the boxes then. And that ties into what we wanted to say. We wanted to say why we're doing this, why we started Unboxing Women, and why we have these talks every 2 weeks. And it's because we want to have this conversation with other women and other men, not just to assure ourselves of, I'm not the only one, but to make sure that we stand together and keep believing in ourselves, because it's so easy to lose yourself after the 100th time of, you've had to prove, what you're talking about. And doubt creeps in, and it shouldn't. So if you know your stuff, you know your stuff. And it does not depend on your gender. So, I'm sure there are a lot of men out there that think the gender gap is something to be abolished as well. And I think we are all in this together, and that we can learn from each other. I mean, we want to put our opinions out there and tell the world our reactions to what's being done or what's not being done, to make sure that we are going in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. So in essence, what we really want to do is to see what we get as feedback, to see what's coming back to us and who is joining the conversation, right? Because we want that conversation with you and like with the audience, basically.
Oh, I have a banner for that. Wait a second. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're watching on Facebook, you'll see a banner. It says post your own experience on your story and tag us with #SuchABitch. So same for those on Instagram. I'm sure you've got one story. If you're male or female, doesn't really matter. Just tag us, tell us your story. We'd really love to know. And so we can talk about it next time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I actually got some feedback since last week from some men as well, telling me about how they were actually insulted as well. just for
insulted as people and not insulted by us.
Not insulted by other men. Yes, for I'm not going to tell the story here because I was direct messaged, so this is personal. But yeah, so men are going through this as well. It's just weird that some groups of let's say people, because we always say men, but I'm sure that some women might feel the need to insult as well, which it's just why insult anybody. Anyway, so yeah, that's why we're doing this.
Comes back to, yeah, I think when you say why insult anybody, I think a lot of it comes back to just kind of having the need to prove that you're better than somebody else. And I think that is, in general, a very counterproductive way of being, because we should all be working together. And I know that sounds very like, ooh, but no, we should all be working together and helping each other, because that's how progress works.
Yes.
Right? That's how we get to anything in life. So
Oh yeah, so true, so true. Yeah, it must be some kind of assertion of superiority and especially intelligence, which is weird because when you're insulting somebody, obviously for no reason, then are you really the intelligent one? Is that how you assert that you're more intelligent than the other person? No, it's not. So why do it? Seriously.
yeah. I think that's a topic for another day, though, because it's going to be a long discussion. There was one other thing I wanted to say, which I don't remember now, so maybe it wasn't important.
Oh, maybe you'll remember. We can say it next time.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah, exactly. I remembered. So what I wanted to say is if you do DM us with your stories and you don't want us to put it on these kind of lives, then just let us know. And it's just going to be between us. Right. So let us know what you feel comfortable with.
Absolutely. Yes, please do tell us when you've been called #SuchABitch. And let us know your stories on Instagram or Facebook. Let us know in posts. Let us know in DM if you want to keep it personal. But please do stay in touch. And I think that's all for today. So I want to thank you for tuning in to Unboxing Women, second episode. And be sure to connect with us on our socials, as I just said. You can find all the links in the show notes. And yes, let us know your personal experiences with the #SuchABitch. And join the movement and let's make some changes around here. My name is Rexx, and I've been chatting with Maika Rose. This is a bi-weekly show, and our next episode will be on the 6th of August. Same time, same place. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.